What's up, guys? My name is Andy, and I want to replace this old tired out headliner in my F100. It's got cracks in it, it's bulging down, and it's starting to sag, and it's just not nice. And plus the trim on here is kind of rusty, and I'd like to get that cleaned up as much as I can and install it back here in the truck. And I think we should wash these visors and get them cleaned up a little bit. They're kind of dirty. I mean, you know, these are the kind where the dust just sits up on top, right? And it just gets dirty, right? It's one of those things, every time you grab it, now your fingers are dirty every time you touch the visor. So I think we can clean those up, and yeah, should be pretty easy. There's just a handful of screws. There's one here in the center and then several around on the trim. Looks like I'm missing one, two, but we'll take these out and then get the new piece in. I think the easiest plan of attack here is we'll take the trim off all the way around, and you can use these visors to kind of support this headliner as you're getting the last couple screws out. And then we've got one screw there in the center, and that should drop the headliner. And then from there we can take the visors off and get those cleaned up and go about that. So that was pretty easy to get all that out. Just those screws in the trim, and then there was those two screws up in the front that were holding this thing up, and then the one in the center. And able to take that board out, and here we go. This is the board. Well, this is the back side of the board. And then what I did is I just laid the trim out on the ground just so I know where everything goes, although really they only fit in one spot, one location, so shouldn't be an issue. So before I put everything back in the truck, I want to go through and I'm going to try to clean this up and see if I can get some of this surface rust off this chrome trim. Just kind of clean it up a little bit before we put it back in the truck. All right, so they say that baking soda works pretty good. So I've got some in here with some water and a little Scotch-Brite sponge pad. And we're gonna just see what happens when we start to scrub this with some baking powder and water. Actually, well, I should have shown you the edge here. This is what it looked like, because it was underneath that tab that was holding the pieces together. And it's all wet and it looks clean right now, but this is what it used to look like versus what it looks like now. So probably should have showed you that first, but that's okay. So this is coming off pretty easy. I mean, it's a little bit of elbow grease, right, to get it done. And then kind of when you get an area cleaned up, then we'll take just another thing of water and a rag, and we can just wipe it off and see how it came out. So there's the cleaned area. There's still some pitting stuff on here that's, it's not coming off. These well, maybe if I let it soak, but then you can see, you know, we've got a lot of work to do over here, but I think just a little bit of time, a little bit of elbow grease, and you'll get all these cleaned up. Now these ones are a lot more rusted, and I don't know if I'll be able to save these. There's a little bit of surface rust we can get off of here, you know, like a lot of the yellowing and stuff of it, but this thing's pitted pretty bad, and you know, I can get some of it, but it's starting to tear up the sponge because there's so much meat on here that's, yeah, so it may be worth, I don't know, maybe just getting a new set of these trim pieces, because these are pretty bad. And unfortunately, I'm just not able to get all of this out. It's just too pitted. It's just too, this one's the worst one of the 4 pieces. And I'm just gonna I'm gonna call it my custom leopard print, because that's not gonna come out. It's probably too far gone. Maybe if I use a Scotch-Brite pad, like a steel wool or something. I don't want to scratch the chrome, but this stuff is really abrasive to the point where it's tearing up my sponge, the Scotch-Brite pad. So, oh well. Okay, let's get those sun visors out and get those things cleaned up. Now, I was gonna take these out, but I started to strip the head of the screw, trying to take it out here. They're in there so good. I'm just gonna destroy that screw. So I'm just gonna clean them while they're in place up here. And I've just got a wet cloth with some, hot soapy water with just like some Dawn, dish soap in there. And I'm just gonna put the edge of this on there and just get it soapy. But we don't want it runny, but just soapy. And then we can come up here and scrub this. And I'm gonna just use just a little bit of a time here, just kind of see the difference. And you can see how we've already got quite a bit. Now, if you had a brush, you could get in between the little tiny grains in here and get that stuff out a little better, in around the threads here and stuff on the edge of the vinyl. But just go along like this and it'll clean it right up. And then it should be, see how you can see the difference between the two? This is much cleaner, much better, much more what we're looking for. I wish I could have taken it out just to get a little better job cleaning, but this is already a lot better, and I think this is gonna be good enough for now. Let me get the other one done, then we can go ahead and start putting the headliner back in. So what I've got here is just a basic fiberboard cardboard piece that's just black on one side and just the cardboard color on the other. It's not perforated like the stock unit. It's not plastic. Like, I know you can get some vinyl plastic pieces that will lay up in there. I debated about putting some sort of skin on this thing, some sort of design or something, and I just can't make my mind what I want to do. So for now, I'm just going to stick with the black. So I'm going to change a lot of things to black in the truck anyways down the road. So I think this will be fine for now. And then the trim has been cleaned up some. So it's not, I was hoping this would turn out a little better than what it is. I think I'm going to just have to buy some new trim. And this will be fine for now. And then it gives me a new piece that I can put up there, and then I can cover it when I'm ready. So, and then I did, this thing came rolled up. You can tell that's kind of curly still. I did lay it out on the garage for several days, and I put some stuff on the ends just to kind of flatten it out. And it's better than it was. This thing was really coiled up when I got it, but let's go ahead and stick it in the truck. We'll put it in there. We can put the screw in the center to hold it up, and then those 2 screws in the front, and then we'll use the visors to hold it while we put the trim up. Careful, you don't want to crease this thing at all as you're setting it in here. Don't want to catch it on something. I think we can pivot this out here and we can set this up on that visor. Same thing like this. Oh, let's see here. All right, let's find that center hole. There it is. That'll hold that, and then we can just kind of, I guess we don't really need them that much, but there. All right, guys, I got all the trim in. I turned the camera off because I thought I was going to have to trim a bunch of stuff and it was going to take forever. But in the end, I only had to trim this one corner to make those screws fit, and everything else fit just fine, and it went in pretty good. There's kind of an order to putting in the trim pieces when you've got overlapping pieces and stuff like that. But you just kind of put the screws in just loosely, and then you can kind of set everything in place and then go back and then tighten up all the screws and finish everything. So I like the way it looks. You know, it does darken the cab a little bit, but that's okay because I'm all right with that. And then, of course, we got the visors all cleaned up, and they look a lot better now. And they almost, you know, look out of place with the black top and the white visors, but maybe I can fix it on the road. Maybe I can dye these or something like that. And then also, this cardboard kind of has a texture to it, so it almost looks like a piece of vinyl, even though it's just cardboard. So I think it looked pretty good. It came out all right. I should paint that screw black. Just because it kind of sticks out a little bit with everything else, but it looks all right. And then the last thing is the trim. So these back pieces of the chrome trim came out pretty good, but you know, the side ones and stuff up here, I just could not get those things clean enough. So it's gonna have to be what it is for now. So guys, again, I think it came out all right. I was expecting it to be a little better than this. I was expecting to be able to get the chrome cleaned up a little bit better, but this looks pretty good, and I'm happy with it. And it doesn't look as dingy and dirty as it did before. You know, another thing you could have done is put those, like those sound deadening mats and stuff like that up in there, just to kind of reduce some of the road noise and stuff like that. But I think it came out all right. I'm okay with it. And cool, we can move on to the next part. All right, guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you subscribe, I appreciate it because it helps my channel out. And we'll see you in the next one.